Hello, lovelies. I hope you're doing well. So, today I want to talk a little bit about my YouTube journey. So, as some of you may have seen, I've actually hit that 1,000 subscribers. So, to me, that is a really big deal because, it's not really that I set myself targets, but I really wanted to succeed in whatever way that was by growing this channel and reaching out to people and having that communication and that trust that you develop when you do lots of videos and you do actually make these beautiful connections with people. So even though I may not have met some of you, I do feel like lots of you are really old friends. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to just run through a few tips and things because a friend said to me, could you do a masterclass on how to become a YouTuber? So I know that I have quite a few friends who want to take the plunge, but they're not quite certain as to what to do. So instead of kind of like putting all this technical stuff and throwing lots of stuff at you or them, I just want to say that the most important thing is to communicate who you are. Everybody says, oh, find your niche and do this, do that, get a good camera. Well, I've got a really basic Samsung phone that I've had for years, and it isn't expensive to get a little microphone. You know, I haven't got a high-tech one. It's like something like 13 quid, Lavalier, on my, and it's just a little clip-on thing. And then I've got this little ring light. You can probably see it at my glasses sometimes. And what that's like about a tenner or something like that. And then basically you just need probably a selfie stick, although I often just hand hold all my videos and I don't bother. And then there's a sort of a tripod for phones as well, which I'm using now actually. But you know what? I'm really bad at remembering to take my technical stuff out. But I think one of the most important things is the audio. So if you go out on a really windy day, for instance, it's just logical, isn't it? It's going to be really windy. So I think some of the people who have really inspired me, they're not bogged down on the technical side of things because it's no good having all the technical stuff perfect if people are not interested in the stuff that you're saying. And what I've got to say is it's been a real learning curve for me. I've learned so much about myself. It's reflected a lot of things back to me. And it's also made me just more aware of who I am, what I'm about. And originally it started because I was deplatformed from Facebook. So some of you may have started following my channel when I was leading a campaign or sort of like, as it were, just sparking off the campaign to stop World Heritage in Glastonbury, the place that I live. Some people know it as Avalon as well. So then I just got holding my camera when I was out on my dog walks. And I love being out in nature, as many of you know who've been following my channel. And it just seems that things come out a little bit more easily there. I talked this morning about home, being in the woods or on the beach. And that's where, in those elemental places, that's where I feel most at home. What I would say if you are starting out is just to learn some basics, download an app, a video making app. Mine is free and it is so simple. And I'm literally, I'm a bit of a technophobe and I've kind of embraced this video app that I use. And it's amazing, if you make a weird face or you say the wrong things, you can always edit stuff out. And it's really good not to be too precious. As some of you know, I'm a highly sensitive person, and what goes with that is perfection. Well, I know you'd find that hard to believe watching my videos, but I think that's what stops a lot of people because they don't have the confidence, or they basically they also they want it to be perfect. They want to get 10,000 subscribers in the first week. And I do see people jumping on YouTube and then getting huge numbers. And that's incredible. And I'm more of a tortoise rather than a hare, I would say. I kind of plod on. I'm a Taurus in the astrology, and I'm more of a plodder or an ambler. You may see, I may put a little video of me walking on through the sand or along the beach, and you can see that that's my natural state, ambling. So I guess that's what I do. I amble through life, really. I'm not really a control freak. I kind of let life happen to me rather than me controlling life. And what I would say more than anything is do what feels comfortable for you, what feels right for you. So, you know, my dog, Aurora, is really important to me. So she's a part of my videos. Living in Glastonbury is part of my identity. And I like to go out walking and talk a little bit about the things that happen here and how it is to live here too. So if you're starting your channel, I would just get your phone out and just maybe just try out a few things. Maybe get lights further down the line, maybe get a selfie stick, but it's not essential. And I quite like slightly shaky, imperfect videos. And, you know, the other thing is your message is far more important. And I'm a Generation Xer. I'm 59. Well, I'm 59 in a week's time. And, you know, I've experienced life. We've been through quite a lot of stuff. So they say it's really good to share your experiences of life. And at the moment, I'm going through the A to Z of things because I just think I've got so many things to say about different topics. So I'm just dipping my little toe in the water, as it were. But what I'm planning to make a bit of a splash with a book that I'm writing. And I'm going to be extending that A to Z of subjects into longer videos. So we had A for art, B for beauty, C for creativity. What was D now? I've forgotten already. E for energy. And it was, I just did F this morning. Oh, F. Well, you know, I forgot what all my letters were, but I can write them underneath. And that's the good thing about videoing. You can just cut it out. You can just edit. I do come from a long line of filmmakers, but I mean, my skills are so basic. I never went to college. I did study photography, so I am quite interested in visual things. But I would just say, have a go. That's the best thing. Set the channel up. I think the name's quite important because it kind of shows who you are. So I think I didn't really come into my own until I found Amanda Ambles. And I'm on this community page, which is called Consortium of Misfits. And I definitely do identify with being a misfit, that's for sure. Wherever I am and whatever I'm doing, I'm usually a misfit. So it's quite interesting that I've ended up being in part of that community. I'm not really one to be into doing a lot of groups online. I'm not one of these people who... I was a teacher and I had the opportunity to teach online, but I wasn't too keen on being in front of the screen all day. So it's a little bit ironic in a sense that I've turned out to be a bit of a YouTuber, or I'm kind of starting out still after my first year. But it's enormously challenging, but very enriching. And there is a community out there as well of YouTubers. And it's interesting because what I've noticed is quite a lot of us are loners. Quite a lot of us have got introvert traits, although we may have the extrovert as well. And I think there's a word for someone who's an introvert and an extrovert. And I think it's quite nice to have some kind of idea of performance, I guess. Although I was only an amateur actress at school, I always got the part of the peasant, or, you know, like a minor part, the peasant woman, something like that, or the gypsy, or, you know, I always had minor parts, but I always loved being on the stage. Even from the age of 8, I got in front of the stage in front of hundreds of people. So there is that little side of me, but very often people who are actors, actresses, they do have a very different inner life, if you know what I mean. So I hope this has helped you, but what I would say is just get some basic things. You only really need a phone, a basic microphone, and, you know, a stand, a tripod, a few things. You literally only really need to spend, what, 50, 60 quid on equipment, I would say. Maybe 100 quid. plus the phone. So those of you who want to chat to me more about it or see me in person can ask a little bit more about what I've used exactly, and I can help you. But what I would say more than anything is just be brave and step out there, and don't judge yourself too much. So many of us have got imposter syndrome. Apparently even Elvis had imposter syndrome. So it's very, very common. I hope this has helped in some way. And I have to say that the people who have encouraged me and supported me on this journey, I mentioned them in my video about 1,000 subscribers. And I'm watching Mad Mark, and he's brilliant, and it's called Where's Mad Mark, and I love him because he's just really spontaneous, and he's constantly posting up new shorts, and I follow that kind of style. I don't tend to do loads of long videos, although I want to be doing more. And Mark Mays, you're incredible, and all of those people who are stepping into making videos, I think that you're really inspiring as well, because you're opening your heart and you're sharing your life experience. Thank you so much for watching, and please let me know if there's something in particular, a subject you'd like me to cover, because it's an interactive thing here. This is what I want to create. And although I do touch on things like psychology, politics, personal things of health, things to do with health, things to do with travel, or whatever it is, I would love to know what your particular interest would be. All right, have a beautiful day. It's a lovely sunny day here in Avalon. Take care now.